Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate it. Yes, as Joe said, I'm Christian Johnson, founder of Respond AI. So I'll be talking a little bit about just the overview of Respond AI, what our mission is, what our vision, our goals are. So I'll go through the PowerPoint. My voice will just be audio only, but you'll be able to see the PowerPoint. And then maybe towards the end, I'll show a quick video of us doing some things in action, so you kind of have more context, and then we'll open up for questions. Yeah. So I guess we can mute everybody else. Is that okay, BJ?
Yeah, I just
cool. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So basically, the problem that we are solving is, when it comes to drones, right now there's a lot of municipalities, these are fire departments, police departments, all over the country that are really seeing drones as a benefit to public safety missions. You can go to fires, many different things. But the problem is, municipalities, police departments, fire departments, they're having to purchase big drones, spend a lot of money on equipment, the software, the staffing to actually fly the drone. So if you're a police department, you're taking a full-time police officer and having them fly a drone, and it may be one or two people. And first of all, they're not always available. So you're basically taking a police officer that's his job to do police work, to then do drone work, and all this has huge costs. So it's a really huge problem when it's like turn on investment. And if a police department spends $200,000 creating a drone program, then the fire department doesn't. And so then if you're a county, if you're, municipality, your police department and fire department, they both don't need drone programs. And so you're investing in a lot of money into these different programs, but you're not getting as much on your return investment. So that's where we come into play. We're basically an emergency response drone service. So on demand, they don't have to worry about buying their own drones, staffing their own people, buying a bunch of software. We take on those costs and provide municipalities this service for on demand. So all our teams are very highly specialized. We basically take firefighters, police officers, military veterans, train them to do emergency response missions, give them the proper qualifications, and we're essentially the SWAT team of drone deployment. So highly specialized. This picture actually right here, to the left is actually a demo day that we just recently did in the Central West End with the SWAT team and several other different public safety agencies. So it's really awesome. We are on demand, and so these municipalities, they can call us whenever they need us. We do have different contracts where we can put it in place where for over a 12-month period, we give them a certain amount of hours that they can call us whenever they need it. Yeah, so actually currently right now we do have, in the past few weeks, we've acquired a couple of customers, which is really exciting. Actually being able to generate revenue, and we've only been doing this for 7 months, so we're actively generating revenue right now, and just really on this on-demand model. So it's really awesome. So just a little bit about our team. So right now we have physical teams like I said earlier, that are off-duty police officers, off-duty firefighters, and military veterans that are actively going out to emergency response critical incidences. So these are, these are the big type of incidents like fires and search and rescue missions. So we always have a team leader that coordinates with the local on-scene commander, which is the fire captain or whoever's in charge of that scene. Then we also have the drone pilot. So this person is in charge of actually flying the drone, talking with the team leader, making sure they know exactly if it's like a lost child in the woods. They know exactly what area to search in. Then we also have a data analyst. So this person is person that is working in our control center that is utilizing weather maps and other geospatial information, where in helping inform the drone pilot of like where to search. So they're basically just utilizing a lot of different sources of information to make the mission successful. So like I said earlier, just, the type of incidences, these are kind of the bigger things. So these are not just, just any kind of incident. These are mass shootings, natural disasters. The other day, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, we went to a big recycling plant fire in East St. Louis. And that was something that actually became pretty big because actually the smoke went all across the St. Louis area. So we had hundreds of people from all around the St. Louis area calling in about the smoke. So we were there on scene. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. And then we got hired by the fire investigation company to do basically an overview, a mapping of the fire after it was all put out. So that's something that we also are now being able to provide the fire insurance companies. We 3D map it, utilize geospatial information, and basically helps them determine the cause of the fire. So I'm going to take it up to like the 30,000 foot goal of where we are trying to head. Our goal is basically we're creating a FAA designated airline. So this is a specific designation by the FAA that says, hey, you can fly these public safety missions all across the U.S. and municipalities are hiring us to fly missions, state governments, federal governments, and also defense as well. So that is something that we're headed towards. And basically, just like an airline, we are a service. Like if you think about Southwest Airlines, they purchase their airplanes, their aircraft from like Boeing, right, or Airbus. And so that's what we're doing. We are right now we're at basically about three different drones that we utilize, and then we're going to be building out our fleet even more to support some of our ongoing missions. So that's really the goal. This picture right here, this is a vertical electric vertical vehicle right here. So this right here, I think, is created by Airbus. So this is kind of an air taxi type of aircraft. Over the next probably like 5-6 years, this is something that will be integrated into the U.S. airspace. So when you think about Uber is trying to do this as well. What we're doing is we are working with NASA as part of a big working group of these different manufacturers, where we're looking at how do we utilize these type of vehicles for public services. So just exactly what our mission is. So basically, our end goal is like in the next like 5 years to be able to not only have a fleet of drones, but also these type of vehicles as well. So then we can do like the bigger missions, all across the United States. So just a little bit about the market. It's a $34 billion market, and that's not including the urban air mobility market. It's literally just going up and up. And I have to say that, like, what actually really makes this really work is the FAA. The FAA right now in the U.S. airspace, we have the toughest, most secure airspace in the entire world. And there's not much that the FAA really lets get through when it comes to regulations. So right now, over the past couple of years, they have been working and making the drones and these type of vehicles a high priority to integrate this into the U.S. airspace. So so one of the challenges is right now drones can't airplane pilots let's say like the pilot of a Southwest aircraft can't see a drone that's in the air, even though the aircraft may be at 22,000 feet and the drone is only at 300 feet. Still the FAA wants that airliner to be able to see exactly what drones and what other aircraft are in that immediate airspace. So that is what the FAA is trying to do right now, making sure that if there's an aircraft, and all drones are considered aircrafts, if it is in the airspace, everything that is in the airspace can see and understand where each other are at. So that is like one of the big priorities right now for the FAA, but that's helping the drone industry. When it comes to even starting a company, it's all about timing, right? So 5 years ago, this type of business wouldn't really be possible because the FAA really didn't have much in the way of creating regulations around integrating drones into the U.S. airspace. But they have done such a great job in working with different drone companies and drone pilots over the past few years of doing it, and over the next couple of years, it's going to be even better. So, so even 2 years from now, there will be more players in this market. It will be a lot healthier, more mature market. So that helps us. So just business model, pay per use. We do also have the annual contracts I mentioned earlier. Municipalities can say, hey, we want you guys, to cover our area for, have a certain amount of hours available over a 12-month period. What we're doing right now, just as far as like our traction and like where we're at as far as our business model is concerned, we are just experimenting and working with several different municipalities in the St. Louis region. So we basically have an area about 50-mile radius around the St. Louis region where we're just piggybacking on calls that they're going into and working with them and getting to know their incident commanders and kind of just getting our face out there. We have been contracted by a couple of actually specialized business districts. So last night we were just flying with the Central West End Neighborhood Security Initiative, where we're be covering the Central West End neighborhood and supporting those off-duty officers as they help keep that area safe. Just a little bit about the competition. So there's only a few companies that are focusing on public safety. What's interesting about the drone industry as a whole, there's a lot of companies right now that are trying to be everything for everybody. So they say, hey, if you need your wires inspected, we'll do that. If you need your roof inspected, we'll do that. If you need to do a search and rescue mission, we'll do that. And which that just makes it completely, they're not specializing in one type of sector. We only want public safety. That's what we're focusing on solely. Right now, we're licensing software from the Department of Defense to basically build out a system where we can fly multiple drones at once that can support all our different types of missions. So that is something that we're really working on right now. The Department of Defense has been really helping us a lot with that. So over the next year, we'll be working on building out software to support our growing missions. Yeah, like I said, like we're service-based. We see ourselves just like an airline. If you kind of picture that type of concept, we're not building our own aircraft. We're basically purchasing or leasing aircraft, depending on the type of missions. Right now, we are starting to build out and work on a concept of a mission control center that will support all our missions. So we're looking at physical space right now. Hopefully, we can do it either probably at T-Rex or somewhere. This will be a pretty complex center that we're building out right now. Like I've just started putting some stuff together actually in my house so to run our different missions. So we actually have a police scanner, we have weather software, we have some GIS software where we can upload video and pictures from our missions and put 3D images and geospatial information together and prepare them for upcoming missions or for our clients. Yeah, so our mission control center will be essentially our dispatch center where people, municipalities can call in and say, hey, we need this. Can you send somebody out to this fire or whatever? Yesterday actually we actually had a fire in South City that we were dispatched to, and then supporting also the Kirkwood Police Department and searching an area for somebody that they were looking for. So just for a general timeline, we have been working on establishing our first physical team. So currently we have about 13 people on our team. They're all basically contractors. We have about five pilots that have their own drones that are FAA certified. I'm also FAA certified myself. So we can dispatch people to different types of missions. So that's really what we've been working on a lot. And then we have started to actually launch and experiment and we have gotten hired for a couple missions already. So actually we're kind of ahead of our curve where we thought we would actually be. We are trying to get basically statewide contracts. So this will be basically being built into Missouri's public safety budget, where we can provide this to all the different municipalities where we don't have to worry about working on individual contracts with them. The state will provide this as a service to these different cities. So that's something that we're currently working on. The governor is actually really interested in this because he's actually a former sheriff, and yeah, so he's really interested in this, and so we're working through some political stuff right now. Interestingly enough, the coronavirus stuff has started to make our this concept a lot more widely accepted, just because they see this as a benefit, to having, you know, PSA announcements or, you know, basically also delivery of test kits. So that's something that we're working on right now with actually NASA. So these are, we're looking at actually creating some type of drone system where we're delivering test kits or anything else that can help with the coronavirus, this coronavirus epidemic. Yeah, so so right now where we are, you know, just have established a team, have been experimenting, and where we want to go, like I said earlier, we are trying to create a full there are a couple of our team members that are kind of working on the more on the day-to-day stuff. Our advisors, everybody probably might know Mark from the T-Rex, but these are just also Jason Carter from Uncommon. So we have really great people, Jim Everland from Top Ops. These are people that are experts in their own right, that have been helping us from the very, very beginning, really figure out the models and really get going. So I really appreciate them. We do have a defense solution as well. We're looking at with the Air Force a global mobility strategy. Right now, you have like big drones that the U.S. Air Force utilizes. They're looking for a more agile solution for embassy defense. So that's something that we're working on as well. They were able to license us some software, so we can now start to be thinking about more a global mission. So that's really, really exciting. That's honestly probably where our bread and butter would come from. You know, having like a strong defense side of what we do. We do have a specific defense team. So these are guys that are security clearances, you know, that are specifically working on this. I think that is it for that one. What I'll do real quick is, okay, I'm gonna show a quick video of us at this buyer in East St. Louis. So this is a dual screenshot. You can see like this is actually while the fire was going on. You know, we're able to like just go up different shots. So this is our fire response set of things. And then I'll show one more. Yep, so this one is us doing a neighborhood patrol. So going up above the skyline. So we're going to different parts of the neighborhood. And this one was kind of towards dusk. We also have the ability to do infrared and LiDAR, so we can actually be able to do night missions. That's something actually we did last night in the Central West End. So yeah, if you guys want to do some questions, Q&A, I think I'm good, Joe.
I think we all have to I think we all can chime in whenever we want. Would somebody like to take the first question?
I will. Let's see if I can get this video working here. Can you guys see me?
Yep.
So my name is Jake Lactus, just real quick as an intro. I'm with the National Security Innovation Network. So we're a DoD program office. I love the presentation, by the way. The company sounds awesome. So just as you guys get rolling, it sounds like you guys are well connected with NGA and Scott. But as you guys get moving, Ensign's purpose is to support small businesses in terms of innovation pathways to DoD customers. So as you guys are looking to develop those anchor customers and looking for small business grants, kind of enhance customer discovery and those sorts of things, would be happy to talk more.
Yeah, definitely. Please, please reach out to me. Let me put it on my. Please shoot me an email or also on LinkedIn as well. I'd love to connect with you. Thanks so much, Jake.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm interested too in the licensing deal with Scott Air Force Base too. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll take the next question. And first off, I mean, Christian, of course, it goes without saying, great presentation. I mean, when I heard it was you, it's like, that's a no-brainer. It's going to be a good one.
Thank
I
you.
think you're very smart to leverage your connections already and to stay focused on one thing. I think you're exactly right. So many people want to be everything to everybody, and to kind of be the Kleenex for lack of a better term, for the safety, for public safety. It's a great idea.
Exactly.
I guess let's talk a little big term. And how do you plan on? I mean, so you have connections in Missouri, St. Louis, and some other things. How do you plan on, eventually breaking through to other, states, municipalities, that sort of stuff? I just like to hear a little more about your marketing strategy.
So kind of actually really the plan for that, honestly, is kind of going kind of bigger scale. So the goal actually is to pursue a contract with FEMA. So really we're going kind of like that bigger scale. We do want to like a strong presence in Missouri where it can show even the FAA that, hey, we're currently doing this. Here's a strong proof of concept. But really, like, we're not gonna go state to state. There's some other companies that are, want to try to go like state to state. We're not gonna do that.
Okay.
We are gonna work on FAA integration. I've been talking a lot with the FAA. We actually just got approved for a night waiver, which is a huge deal. This significantly raises our value as a company, because there's just not that many companies that are being able to fly actually at night. So we can do that. So one thing is that we can only fly right now within the line of sight. So we have to be able to see the aircraft. What we're working with the FAA is really giving us a strong roadmap to beyond the line of sight. There's only a few companies in the U.S., UPS being one of them, that is FAA designated as an airline that and they can fly beyond the line of sight, where that just really means that whoever's controlling the aircraft, they don't have to physically see that aircraft. That is really the holy grail. That's what's going to blow open our business. But we have to really prove to the FAA that we're choosing the right aircraft. We're having the right safety precautions, that we're testing. And right now, right now it's just like, there's only been a few companies that have been able to do that. And it's really right now on the behalf of the person who is applying for the waiver. You have to basically, they don't tell you exactly, hey, you need to do this, this, and that. They basically say, hey, apply for this, but you have to meet a certain standard. And up until now, they really haven't actually laid that groundwork. So that's something that we're pursuing right now with them. Like, give us that framework. work with us. And recently we have established a partnership with NASA. We're part of basically a vertical flight working group. So these are different manufacturers. These are FAA experts, where now we can basically start to kind of leverage that and really work on that full, we want to be the number one company that FEMA is calling for, to provide all the different natural disaster relief operations, and other stuff. So that's kind of the strategy with that.
Oh, that's amazing, man. I mean, it's like, I love that you're going big, and and you definitely have kind of the first mover advantage right now.
Yes, it's very interesting. Because like it's really the right time where it's I don't have to like explain to people like, hey, drones are good and for public safety, like so people are already educated on that. Now it's really like how do we actually make this kind of full integration work. But also like my background, like I didn't talk about my background to the audience, but for anybody that doesn't know, like I am a former St. Louis City police officer, also a military veteran as well. So 10 years of experience doing that. So I've have a lot of this, and also my team, they're all either military veterans or police officers themselves as firefighters. So any other questions?
BJ, could you mute me?
Hi, Christian. This is Ricky.
Hey, Ricky.
How are you today?
Doing wonderful. Thank you.
Great presentation. My question is, I'm really interested in knowing, have you spoken with anybody, either at BioSTL or anybody that has to do with the SBIRs and the STTRs and some of the federal contracts that they have, have access to?
Not them specifically, but we are working right now with the DoD. They are putting us into it's called the AFWorks, which is the Air Force. Basically, it's like a innovation program for the Air Force. So they have a specific SBIR thing that they're working on. Kind of our biggest thing with that was, first we kind of wanted to prove out our model first, and then it's a lot of it's like very much technology driven, and because we were a service, we wanted to wait until we actually license software from the DoD, and now we're going to be starting to apply for SBIR.
Okay, so let's just talk offline. I have some connections and some ideas to just
that'd be awesome.
To that space and to talk with some folks in St. Louis.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any help that I can get with that, that'd be great. A lot of it's very, 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 very confusing. And so just, I'm telling everybody like, hey, like that is one thing I need help the most. So thank you.
So
anybody else?
Who have you got contracts with now, and who's in your pipeline?
That's a great question. So two customers right now, which is the Central West End Security Neighborhood Security Initiative. That is something we're right now we're working on a full kind of year contract with them. But we're working right now with their security team to provide Overwatch for their police officers that patrol the neighborhood. And then also our second customer is a fire insurance company. So they do 300 fires a year. So we're getting called for like industrial fires, just like the one in the video. And then there are some residential as well. Yeah, so right now we have 2 customers, and then our goal, next one is we are working on downtown, also the Cortex as well. You know, and what's great about this, we kind of found early success with the specialized business districts. These are areas that have a special public safety tax, that the residents in that area, they're paying an extra tax to have off-duty officers that are patrolling the area. And it's just like basically a no-brainer for the organizations that run these security initiatives. So we kind of found early success with that. Our kind of goal right now is kind of that central corridor. You know, so we just recently had a demo day where the SLU public safety guys came out. You know, we we have downtown, Central West End, all these different public agencies that are, you know, it's just really a no-brainer, you know, and then they have the budget to make it happen. So yeah.
And I have another question for you, Christian, and this is the question more of a comment. It also seems like you could have, I was thinking, you know, for like large gatherings, you know, such as, you know, Fair St. Louis, Mardi Gras, that kind of stuff, that, you know, that you control those as well. I mean, large gatherings of people can, you know, are 99% of the time, you know, very, you know, are very, you know, peaceful, but you never know, drunken shenanigans. Like you also have some kind of pulse pricing or something like that for things like that, you know, for like that.
Yeah. You're totally right. That is actually a service that we have on our website. So that would be basically working with, you know, like Fair St. Louis, the organization. We haven't approached them yet. That will probably be something that we're working on. What's great about with the different areas, like downtown or the Central West End, you know, a lot of them have like big events and stuff. So that is something that we just included into the service. So as a part of, you know, working with you guys, then we'll also handle the events that are in your district. Yeah. So it's a lot happening. You know, we're just you know, kind of taking one step at a time. You know, right now, kind of the high priority is kind of like, you know, kind of working on some of this coronavirus stuff and really figuring out like how drones can play a part in kind of helping meet the needs of this time right now, you know. So yes, if anybody has ideas or, you know, or any type of connections or anything like that, definitely please let me know.
Hey, Christian, I've got a question here on neighborhood safety, neighborhood patrol level. What would your typical dispatch for that look like? Like, is it sort of a proactive, like just as an off-duty officer would be kind of patrolling the neighborhood, or are you responding to certain scenarios, or is it sort of just a perpetual watch kind of concept?
Yeah, it's more perpetual. So what actually happens is, you know, so they'll say, hey, we would like you guys like 2 or 3 times a week during these particular hours that are kind of like maybe the like most busiest or at night. Because of these are off-duty officers. Unfortunately, a lot of times like the department, you know, especially kind of with what's happening right now, they kind of are working a lot more. So that means that the security initiatives are understaffed. So what's great about us is that we can basically cover an area that typically like will be another officer kind of patrolling. So we basically would be putting up the drone like once an hour, checking different sectors, so different parts of of the area, just making sure everything's good. It's really it's not really proactive unless something happens where one of those officers are patrolling, and let's say like, you know, there's some type of incident, and we can go there and basically provide overwatch. We're essentially just an overwatch for the officers that are providing more of a security type of a role, you know. So it wouldn't be like anything like, we're not looking for anybody in particular or surveillance or anything like that. Really just providing you know, just the aerial video overwatch perspective.
Okay, awesome. And then if you're doing neighborhood watch, neighborhood patrol, sort of what measures do you have in place to kind of be a safeguard or to reassure the skeptics? So maybe residents who live in the neighborhood who would like safety, but also want to make sure that a drone isn't flying up and looking in their windows.
Yeah, of course. So we're very, very transparent with all the different neighborhood people. What we let them know is that the drone actually flies above, on basically, you know, in line with the streets. So it's not, you know, it's not to, you know, basically kind of fly, you know, over the house or at the level of their windows or anything like that. So we let them know that. Also, it's really at the direction of the neighborhood, either neighborhood association or the security initiative. So you know, so they kind of also take that that responsibility of letting their residents know, like, hey, this is becoming a part of our arsenal of helping keep your neighborhood safe. You know, these drones are not to, you know, we're not doing anything crazy or anything like that. Also, nothing's being recorded. You know, nothing's being like recorded as in being stored. Unless there's like an incident that's happening that we need to, you know, utilize, you know, to, you know, of course, like for evidence, you know. So it's really just live, basically live monitoring as like really a camera. Basically, it's a flying camera, you know. And so when they understand that, it's pretty simple, because like, you know, at every neighborhood right now, downtown, Central West End, all these areas that they already have, there's already neighborhood cameras in place, you know, so it makes them feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, I know when Soulard set up their initial security, you know, camera system, the regulation they were kind of having to work off of is that the cameras had to be physically attached to a volunteer private business or private residence. So just since we're now in the mobile flying sphere, that, you know, those kinds of questions come up again.
It's really a lot of just transparency with the neighbors. You know, like, and that's kind of what we tell them, like, hey, it's you know, we're not like recording hard storing data and like, you know, all that.
Yeah. All right. So I think has everybody gotten their questions answered? Yeah, it looks like everybody has. All right. So Christian, thank you very much for presenting once again. It's amazing, amazing what you're doing. You know, how many companies do you own now? Around 10? I don't know how you have the time of the day to do anything. So if you have further questions for Christian, there is his email and his phone number. I'm sure he would love for you guys to reach out to him. And so, yeah, that's about it. Thank you, everybody, for attending this Zoom video presentation of 1 Million Cups. I believe, do we have somebody for next week, BJ, lined up?
We have one presenter, but they would prefer to do it in person. So I still have to talk them into doing it remotely like this.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
BJ, I spoke with somebody. I think we will have somebody. I'm working on them later on today. So I'll let you know later on today who we have.
All right. So everybody, thank you very much. Keep your eyes on the emails for what's coming next. Thank you everybody much for listening, and we will see you on video, and hopefully in a few weeks, months, who knows when, we'll see you in person.
Thanks.
Thank
you so much, guys. Bye.
Bye, Christian.